Good morning, folks. Okay, we're here at Across the Board with the owner, Olaf Pitlick. And let me tell you, Olaf, when I walked in, I did not expect to see this many board games. Where did you get all these games from?
You know, most of these games are actually from my personal collection. I grew up in Germany, and Germans are big into board games. I know it's not the first thing you think about when you think Germans is board games, but we love board games. So in the 80s, I collected a lot of them being a young person there myself. Then I came here in 1990, and I took a lot of them with me here to introduce my friends to them. And these days, you can also buy a lot of them here in North America, but most of them I just kind of collected throughout my lifetime.
Okay, so how does it work? I come in, I've got a group of friends, and do I just start grabbing games, or how does this work?
You can. First of all, we are just a licensed restaurant, so you don't have to play games when you come here. And that's really important for people to know, because a lot of people assume that you have to play games. You don't. We have a great menu here. We're licensed. We have a chef here that we're very proud of that I think makes fantastic food. But in addition to that, should you want to play games, it's a $5 per person cover charge. And for that, you can basically stay as long as you want and play games. You can help yourself to whatever's in the shelf and just go with it. Or we usually have dedicated game explainers here that are kind of, their job is to kind of get you introduced to the rules. So, because nobody likes to read rules on their own if they can help it. So, that's part of my job as well. And we have other people that do it, just to introduce you to some games that we think are really right for your group. If you come in a group with 10 people, we'll probably, show you some party games that are big for a larger group. If you come on a date or just with a single friend, there's two of you, we'll show you games that are just really good for two people. So we're trying to guide you in the right direction just to have the great experience for you.
Okay, so how many games do you have here? Because I saw some of the classics, and then I saw some, I don't know what they are.
Well, we do have the classics because people do want to play Monopoly, and then that's just, one of the most played games here is Carplunk, and that's great. I mean, it's just a memory of our childhood, and we all love to do that. It's like the vintage feel, and that's great. But the majority of games that we have are either from Europe or European influence. There's, as I said, a really big culture in Europe about new board games, and a lot of them are here. We have around 750 games of all kinds, from kids games for little ones that start with the age of 3 or 4 that you can play with your family, to games that are super complex, just for people that want to, dig their teeth into heavy rules for a few hours. But most of the games we play here are rather light, that last around 45 to an hour. There's games that some of you have heard of, like Settlers of Catan or Ticket to Ride, that became very popular from Germany. So we just have a collection of all kinds of things, basically.
Okay, so now the biggest, hottest game that has hit the market in Germany, right, is Camel Cup.
Camel Cup, that's right. Germans, as I said, love the game. So every year they have an award called Spiel des Jahres, which means Game of the Year, which is an award that is given to the most outstanding and most interesting game that came out this year. Settlers was one of them. Ticket to Ride was one of them in the 90s. This year it's Camel Cup. That's 2014 is the Spiel des Jahres this year. I just brought this from Germany in October. I went to an expo there, and it's been played here a lot. It's a game. Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, let's play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. So how does this work? So I've got my camels, and they're
right.
going to be racing.
Yes.
And we're going to shake the dice, which is this pyramid.
I will tell you. So we have five. Basically, all of us are betting on these 5 camels that are going on a race. Okay. On your turn, you can either roll a die here. And you do this with this little fancy device here. It's a pyramid. You just flip it over, and there's a die. Whatever die number comes up, you move. So, for example, in this case, orange moves 2, so you move the camel 2 spaces. That's one thing you can do in your turn. The other thing you can do in your turn is you can choose to bet on one of the camels that will win this leg. A leg is if every camel has moved once. Or you can choose to bet on a camel that will win the entire race. The game will end when one of the camels finishes the finish line, or will lose the entire race. If your prediction is correct, you will get some money for that in the end. Or you can place a little tile on the board. Every time a camel will land on this tile, you will get $1.
Okay, so, well, this is complicated, and I'm going to do some betting.
You got it.
I'm betting on blue.
Okay.
All right,
So
let's bet on blue. And you know what? Coming up a little bit later, I'm going to be taking you on a little bit of a further tour around the Exchange District, and we're going to be heading to Tiny Feast. Olaf, this is fantastic. Let's bet on these camels. All right,
got it.
let's go.